In the name of the one holy and undivided Trinity. Amen. I'd like to invite the children to come up and join me on the Lord. Thank you. Here they come. Come on up. So, we talked about St. John's is studying the Beatitudes this year of Jesus. All those statements where he says, "Blessed are you who do something." And we just heard that gospel reading, right? It's the second telling of the Beatitudes. It's not the ones that we're learning as a parish. Because he has 4 blessedness and he has 4 warnings, right? Where he says, "Woe to you." And we're spending a whole year talking about that, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that this morning. I want to talk about the first part of that story. Were you listening when they read about Jesus and his disciples? They were down on a plain, a flat place, and people came all around them. Why did they come? Do you remember? Sometimes we just don't even hear it because we sort of just setting the stage. Anybody remember why people were coming out to see him?
To hear him and
to hear him and to be healed. Right. They wanted to be healed. One of my favorite writers has a wonderful little saying. She says, when it comes down to it in life, there are really 2 main prayers that we all go to. The first one is, "Help me, help me, help me." The second one, anybody want to guess? Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all read Anne Lamott. Right, so these people were praying that first prayer. Help me, help me, help me. They were essentially saying, help. I need somebody. Help. Not just you, Jesus. Because they had heard that power was coming out from him. So they wanted to touch him. They wanted just to touch the hem of his robe, and they felt like they would be helped. They would be healed. And so this is the context. This is the situation in which Jesus looks up at them as he's touching them and healing them, and he sees all their suffering. There are a lot of ways to suffer, right? Not feel good. And he looks out at them and he says, that's when he says these statements of blessedness. He says, "Blessed are you who are poor." There must have been some poor people around. "Blessed are you who hunger and thirst. Blessed are you who weep. And blessed are you when people hate you and make fun of you on account of me." And so this is really important to understand that it's in the context of all this suffering, which is never fun, is it? It's not fun to suffer. Nobody wants to be poor, do they? It's not fun. Nobody wants to be hungry and thirsty. It's not fun. Nobody really wants to weep. That's not fun, usually. And nobody wants to be made fun of and reviled and hated. And yet Jesus says, in the midst of that suffering, you're blessed. And then he touches them. Oh, I can't reach. He touches them and brings them wholeness. Some wanted healing from physical diseases. Some, the scripture talks oftentimes about they were vexed by demons. Today we would probably say that they were dealing with a mental illness. Sometimes it's an illness of the soul. We're just sad. But he said, in the midst of that feeling bad, I am offering you blessing. And the church throughout the centuries has seen this as part of our ministry. Not only to meet physical needs of people and mental needs of people in terms of how their bodies work. This is what physicians and doctors do. And study that so we know the best way to treat diseases. But also to stand with people in their suffering and to touch them. There's a touch over there. And say, you are not alone and you are blessed. And sometimes healing prayer brings what we call a cure, that whatever is troubling us just goes away. Sometimes, too, though, it brings a wholeness. That's what the word healing comes from, wholeness, where the disease or the problem we have might not go away, but we're given an inner strength to deal with it and to have peace and resolve and feel love. So in a little while, we're going to have a few spots in the church. We call them stations because we're stationary. We're just standing there. One in the back, and one over here on either side, with both clergy and lay members of the parish on the healing team offering healing prayer for anybody who wants it. And so I hope you all and everybody out there, if you're at a point in your life where you need help, don't be so self-assured. Be willing to ask for it, to come forward and express what you would like prayer for. But maybe you're feeling really great right now, and I encourage you to use that time then in your pews to pray for the people that are coming up. They each have a need. They each have a way they want to be helped. Or pray for people that you know. Do you know anybody who's sick or has a problem? Anybody in your life? That's good if you don't. But if you do, think about them during that prayer. And as I said, you'll see people coming up who do need our prayers. And so on this day of healing, coming out of our Beatitudes, we give thanks to God, not only for the gifts of medicine or the science that helps us understand how our bodies and minds work, but for the grace of God's reminding us when it doesn't feel that way at all, that in fact we have God.